I say either. You guys say either. I say neither. And I say neither.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down everything we know about Venom, There Be Carnage.
Thinking about you, we leave behind. And how do we leave them?
What's gonna happen? You gonna stop protecting me?
For this list, we're looking at all the available info and rumors surrounding the Sony Venom sequel, There Be Carnage. Which symbiote is your personal favorite? Share your pick and why in the comments below. Number 10. Andy Serkis is directing. The first Venom film certainly did well at the box office, but there were many fans and critics who felt there was room for improvement.
Is that a threat?
Have a nice life.
For the sequel, Andy Serkis is taking over the helm as director. Serkis is best known for his groundbreaking work in motion capture. He's played such iconic characters as King Kong, Snoke, and Gollum from The Lord of the Rings. Most famously, however, he portrayed Caesar in the Planet of the Apes trilogy to critical acclaim.
I did not start this war. The ape who did.
In recent years, he's been focusing on directing. After 2017's Breathe and Mowgli: Legend of the Jungle in 2018, this will be his third feature film as a director. Given his experience with mocap and strange characters, he seems like a great choice.
Now then, let's see if you know what you're talking about.
Number 9. The cast. It should come as no surprise that Tom Hardy is returning to his starring role as Eddie Brock.
We are Venom.
He will once again also be lending his voice to Brock's monstrous other half, Venom. For those who like some romantic entanglement in their comic book movies, you'll be happy to know that Michelle Williams is also returning as Anne Weying, along with Reed Scott as Dan Lewis.
There's nothing going on between me and Eddie.
I'm not talking about you and Eddie.
The major addition is, of course, Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy. The serial killer teased at the end of the previous film, Cassidy will become Carnage, just like in the comics. He's not alone, however. Naomi Harris has also joined the cast as Frances Barrison, and seems poised to play an important role.
Waiting in the darkness.
Number 8. It's been about a year and a half. In the lead-up to a high-profile release, directors and studio execs are usually obsessed with secrecy. Perhaps in response to the delays caused by COVID-19, however, Andy Serkis actually offered up an extended behind-the-scenes commentary to go along with the release of the first trailer. In it, he revealed a number of interesting details, including how much time has passed since the events of the previous film. According to the director, it's been about 18 months. And when you're living with an extraterrestrial parasite, that is a long time.
Catch up!
Excuse me?
This apparently also accounts for the change in Cletus Cassidy's hair and the way in which Brock and Venom's relationship has evolved. We're curious to see how they've been keeping busy.
I am happy to eat, Mrs. Chen.
No, you cannot eat, Mrs. Chen.
What?
Nothing?
Number 7. Doubling down on conflicting tones. One of the most notable things about the 2018 Venom film was the tone. Given the character's violent nature and comic book history, many fans were expecting a dark and gritty origin story. Others were worried that Venom would be sanitized into a basic vigilante and a pale imitation of his comic book counterpart. Defying expectations, however, the film chose to be at once violent and comedic, arguably even more so than the MCU. Venom swings wildly from moments of menace to downright absurd dialogue and moments of slapstick and physical comedy. From the looks of the trailer, rather than dialing it back, the sequel is leaning into that dual personality, and it seems like Cassidy will be every bit as unpredictable as our unlikely hero. Number 6. It's a story about broken people. As director Andy Serkis explained in the aforementioned video, There Be Carnage is fundamentally a very human story. Sure, the action looks epic and there are extraterrestrial aliens in the mix, but at its core, this is about people and their demons.
He says hi.
Eddie Brock, Cletus Cassidy, and Frances Barrison are all very different on paper. But when you get down to the heart of the matter, they're all lost souls, damaged by trauma, and looking for an identity or connection.
Because you and I are the same.
Brock fights the good fight, while Cassidy has fully leaned into the darkness. As for Barrison, well, fans of the comics will have an idea, but we don't want to jump to any conclusions. Number 5. The Mind of Cletus Cassidy. As fans of the comics can tell you, Cletus Cassidy is as twisted as they come. He's not like most other villains who just want power or money. He commits evil acts for their own sake and revels in violence, pain, and brutality. There's a reason he has so often been depicted as the Marvel equivalent of the Joker. As Serkis explains, however, there's more to Cassidy than meets the eye. In classic serial killer fashion, he's got a certain off-kilter charm to him. Perhaps most intriguing is his childlike imagination. In the trailer, we can see that Cassidy has covered his cell in drawings. It almost seems to play a similar role to that of art therapy in helping kids express themselves, just more twisted. Number 4. Cletus Cassidy is obsessed with Eddie. Speaking of childishness, you'll notice that Cletus has some strange mannerisms.
Hi, Eddie.
Hey.
He's smiling and talking like a young boy putting on his very best behavior for his grandparents. But this childlike manner comes across as extremely creepy given the fact that we know what he's actually capable of. Whatever the reason, Cassidy seems to have taken that childlike wonder and focused it squarely on Eddie Brock. After their meeting in the post-credit scene of the first film, they've apparently kept up contact.
There's gonna be carnage.
For Brock, it's surely just a journalistic investigation. But Cassidy apparently sees Brock as some kindred spirit. By the time the second film kicks off, Brock is pretty much the only person Cassidy will open up to. He's obsessed.
Miss you so much.
Number 3. It introduces Shriek. We mentioned earlier that Naomi Harris is joining the cast as Frances Barrison. As fans of the comics will tell you, Barrison is an extremely troubled woman who goes by the villainous name of Shriek. The details of her character are being kept under wraps for the time being, but we can get a rough idea from the comics. Like her name suggests, she specializes in sonic beams. In the source material, Shriek and Carnage are partners in both crime and romance. So it will be interesting to see how the filmmakers have their dynamic play out. She also once bonded with a symbiote called Scorn, so anything's possible. Number 2. Carnage is the central villain. We are excited to see Shriek joining the party, especially with the talented Naomi Harris playing her. Venom and Carnage, however, clearly remain the starring attractions. Given the film's title, there will most certainly be Carnage. And from the looks of the trailer, we suspect that Cletus Cassidy will be getting his symbiote and unleashing Carnage upon the world relatively early on in the film.
Soon come chaos.
That is great, because while we enjoy the whole Hannibal Lecter behind bars energy of Woody Harrelson, the people want to see Carnage in his element, living up to his name. Just how far the filmmakers will push the violence and gore, however, only time will tell. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Carnage's Abilities. This is a superhero movie, so of course people want to know about the powers. Again, this is the sort of thing that we generally would have expected the studio to keep under wraps. But Andy Serkis has actually given us some juicy details about the titular villain's abilities. According to the director, those tentacle-like appendages of his were a big draw, so we'll hopefully see him using them in a number of creative ways. Axe hand, please? Where things get really interesting, however, is when Serkis talks about Carnage being able to turn into mist. The character has historically used the symbiote to shapeshift, but turning into mist isn't something we've seen before. As for how it'll look on screen, we will just have to wait and see. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.